Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Blake's Books. Today I have another book review for you, which is for Panopticon Volume 1, which is a short story collection edited by Blake Armstrong. Blake contacted me some months ago and asked if I would like to review this book. I said yes, and so he did send me a copy of this book to review, and I thought it sounded pretty interesting. It was I think it's 14 short stories, all kind of set in like a dystopian, like near future-ish setting, having to do a lot with things like artificial intelligence, surveillance, that kind of thing. And so I was interested in it because I don't read much stuff like that. And, you know, a short story, so it's nice little bite-sized things that I can kind of get through very quickly. And this book was a quick read for me. You know, it's also a pretty short book, so it didn't take me too long to get through it. I enjoyed this book. I think that a lot of the stories I really enjoyed. There was a couple in there that I didn't care for too much, but overall, I guess that I'd probably enjoyed maybe 3/4-ish of the short stories. Like out of the 14, I'd guess I probably liked maybe 10, 11, something like that. Only a handful I didn't really care for, and of those, I probably really loved about half the short stories in here, I would say. And there's several of them that I think are really going to kind of stick in my memory, and I thought were very impactful. But to talk a little bit about this collection, I'm not going to talk too much about particular stories because, to be honest, there's a lot of them in here and I don't remember exactly everything about all of them. But there are things about this collection as a whole that I really liked. First of all, like I said, the premise of it, the general theme around this collection is one that I think is kind of cool and kind of interesting. I also like the ways that each of these stories approaches those themes. They are all unique in some way. Like there's no two short stories in this collection that feel too similar. They all have something unique to them, whether it's in terms of the setting, whether it's in terms of the writing style, whether it's in terms of the actual like plot and story and characters, all that kind of thing. They all have something a little unique. Like there's you know, there are some that are told from first person. There's some that are told in third person. There's one that is told even in second person, which actually was, I think, one of my absolute favorite short stories in the collection. And it was very interesting use of second person perspective. You know, some of them are kind of very character driven. Some of them are more plot driven, things like that. Some of them are really like approach different aspects of the theme. Some of them are more kind of surveillance based. Some of them are more based on like robots and AI, different things. So there's a nice variety of short stories here that all approach these ideas in different and unique ways that makes each story feel unique from the rest, which is something that I appreciated about this. I also think that, you know, a lot of these short stories were really enjoyable. None of them were particularly long. I think the longest one, if I had to guess, was probably like, I don't know, 10, 12 pages maybe. I don't know that for sure, but that's just a guess. And then some of them were much shorter than that. But all of them were like really nice, like bite-sized stories that managed to, in many cases, have a lot of impact in a very short period of time. So I think there's definitely a lot of talented writers that were involved in doing this. And also a lot of these stories did things that I thought were really interesting. Like there were some of them that had very like strong imagery to them and things like that. Some of them had really good dialogue, just kind of all across the board. I think most of these stories have at least one thing they do really, really well. In some cases, multiple things they do really well. So generally, I really enjoyed this collection. As far as things I didn't care for with this collection too much, really it mostly is just there was a couple short stories in here that didn't quite land for me. I can't remember exactly how many off the top of my head, but I would guess it was no more than like 4 of the stories maybe. Just didn't quite work for me. Overall, most of them did, and I really enjoyed quite a lot of them. And I think, you know, like I say often when I review short story collections, I think that's just the nature of short story collections. Not all of them are going to work for you. That's kind of the thing of having a bunch of small stories. Like some of them are going to really work for you, some of them are just going to kind of work for you. Other ones you're just going to think are kind of boring. It's very rare that, at least for me, that I read a short story collection and I love every single short story. So I think there's something here that if this kind of theme and setting appeals to you, I think there's something in here for everyone who might be interested in it. And in some, and probably many cases, many stories in here for everyone. So that is pretty much all I've got to say about this one. Not a whole lot to talk about here, but it was a good short story collection. You know, just not a whole lot to talk about because it's, you know, already pretty short and it's all short stories. So, you know, not a whole lot to talk about, but I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the theme. I enjoyed the way that each of the stories approached the theme. A lot of them were generally really well done. And things like that. So I would definitely recommend this collection if it sounds interesting to you. As far as a rating out of 10, I'd give Panopticon Volume 1. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10, I think. It's a really solid collection. I really enjoyed it. A couple short stories in there that I didn't care for, but overall I really enjoyed most of them. Like I said, there were a handful in here that I think are really going to stick with me, that really, like there was a couple of stories in here that I finished reading them and I just kind of sat there for a minute like, that really like hit me. So I was very impressed by that. But yeah, definitely would recommend this collection though if it sounds interesting to you. So that's pretty much it for this review. Let me know in the comments if you've read Panopticon Volume 1 and what you thought of it, if so, or if you're interested in it or whatever it may be, and that kind of thing. So thank you once again to Blake Armstrong for letting me read this and review it, for sending it my way. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.